So I'm here at Orpington Conservative Association. Now this is one of the strongest associations that's come out against Theresa May's Chequers deal. They've released a statement last week that basically called for Theresa May to be sacked and replaced. They've also said that they will no longer campaign for Theresa May on the doorstep. Now this is an unprecedented move by a Conservative association, and Westmonster is here. We're going to interview some of the members of the Tory Association, why they're so angry, what they're going to do next, and who they want to be Prime Minister. What do you think about Theresa May's deal? Now I've seen you shaking your head a little bit, and you're not too happy about it, I suppose.
I'm not at all happy about it, no. I think it's a completely bad deal. It isn't Brexit. It certainly isn't the Brexit that I voted for. I'm sick to death of media calling Brexit soft or hard. Soft or hard is a boiled egg. It is not Brexit. Brexit is Brexit. Brexit is leaving the jurisdiction of the European Union. That's what I wanted. That's what I voted for. That's what I expected. I'm also sick and tired of the last 2 years I've defended Theresa May. I am, after all, a Conservative, but I can't defend her any longer. And when I see toxic tests as a headline or Theresa the appeaser, I'm actually nodding, because those are the words I'm actually calling her as well. I think it's absolutely despicable. She's selling us down the Swanee.
Do you think she's the worst Prime Minister, Tory Prime Minister, we've ever had in this country?
Again, as Tony said, it's very difficult to judge somebody actually in whilst they're doing it. But my current views on her, yes, I think she's lied. She's a vicar's daughter. And I've supported her for 2 years. You know, Brexit means Brexit. Only her Brexit isn't my Brexit, and I don't think she meant a word of it. And I'm really disappointed.
And is it time for her to go? Is it time for her to resign now?
I want her gone, yes. I don't want to vote no confidence in her. I want her to man up and say enough is enough and walk away, yeah.
And while she's leader, would you campaign for the Conservatives to get her as Prime Minister?
I certainly wouldn't, no. I did write to our party chairman and say, no, whilst she is in number 10 and this Chequers plan goes ahead with her credentials on it, I will no longer support the party. I'll be a member of the party, but I won't campaign, I won't knock on doors, I won't put leaflets through, I won't distribute leaflets or anything. So no, I would not support Jo. I'll do the mayoral elections because that's totally different, and I won't vote for any other party, but I won't be voting Conservative at the next general election while she remains PM, no.
We've got the chairman of the local Orpington Conservative Association. You were telling me earlier that you've been to Downing Street and you've talked to Theresa May. Is that right, about the Chequers deal?
I haven't talked to Theresa May. We had a presentation from Gavin Barwell, who's her Chief of Staff, and we saw the PowerPoint that was doubtless shown at Chequers.
And what was your thoughts on that?
I thought there was more fudge than our sweet shop in Orpington High Street.
Boris Johnson, who's obviously Jo Johnson's brother, is one of the runners to be next Prime Minister, next leader of the Conservative Party. Who do you think should be replaced Theresa May if she does carry on down this line of no Brexit?
Well, I think it depends where we are, but to negotiate Brexit, you really need somebody who believes in it. I think it's practically impossible to negotiate properly if you're negotiating something you don't really believe in.
And whilst Theresa May is Prime Minister, will you go out and campaign for Theresa May to carry on being Prime Minister, say at the next general election or at local elections?
I don't think she'll be there, to be honest.
But if she is, what will happen? Will you go out and campaign for her?
We will campaign for our local MP. If it's a London election, we will be campaigning against Sadiq Khan and supporting our candidate. And in local elections, which we've just had, we've all gone out as Conservatives. So we do all that despite Theresa May, not because of Theresa May.
And obviously Jo Johnson is your local MP, and he's sort of a big Remainer, some would say. What do you think about Jo? Do you think it's time for him to, get on the Brexiteers' side and support a proper Brexit?
It would be nice if he did. At the moment, because he's a government minister, he goes on the party government line. So at some point, maybe he has a chance to break, but won't at the moment. Do
you think he is privately a secret Brexiteer who does properly support a proper Brexit?
No.
Do you think she's one of the worst Tory Prime Ministers we've ever had?
Very difficult to judge someone in office. I think you have to judge by history, really.
Do you think Theresa May has conceded enough already to the European Union?
I believe she has. I believe in terms of the Chequers deal, I feel you spoke about goods, and that's one of the main key things that people are upset about. But I believe that a lot of Brexiteers wanted had the idea of Parliament being sovereign and us taking back control and us being in control of our regulations and our tariffs and our customs union and our freedom of movement and having so much control over that. And I believe we are still achieving that in terms of parliamentary sovereignty, because even though we may not have the perfect deal in terms of goods, because we would have parliamentary sovereignty once again, we would be able to decide after 2019, whether we would want certain laws in or not.
Do you think she really believes in Brexit?
I think, I think everybody wants a good deal, but I don't think that she believes in Brexit. If she had, she would have been a Brexiteer, really. So no.
And what do you think Gunnar thinks about the Brexit plan?
Gunnar is our Tory mascot. He goes out on the campaign trail. He's campaigned for Zach Goldsmith in the mayoral elections. He campaigns for Joe. He campaigns for at the council elections. He totally agrees with his mother. He might be a German Shepherd, but he's an English-born German Shepherd.
Do you think his attitude now represents a Conservative's attitude at the moment towards the Chequers deal?
I think he's shown complete and utter disinterest in everything, and I think that's how we're feeling about this Chequers deal. Yes.
It's a simple fact, isn't it? If it walks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, you can be sure it is a duck. And in this case, this is no Brexit deal at all.
Do you feel lied to by Theresa May?
Yes. And the story, what can you say? She did not say, she said Brexit means Brexit. She had a Lancaster House speech, all those red lines, and everyone has fallen.
Okay, so what do you think about Theresa May's Chequers deal?
They say the perfect compromise is the compromise where everybody's unhappy. She's certainly achieved that. I think she's done as good as she can do, really.
What are your opinions on the deal, and do you think it's a real Brexit?
It's not real Brexit, and in my opinion you should just walk away, say no deal, because I don't think that their case is as strong as they're making out.
I voted out, and I expected us to be out by now. I just cannot get my head round why we aren't all this bickering. We voted to come out and we're not out.
I think there's a democracy problem in that everywhere where there were people voting leave, their local MP is Remain, and I just feel that is a big problem for democracy.
Right, so I've just finished speaking to people in the Orpington Conservative Association. They've got some really interesting views about Theresa May. A lot of them are against her, very, very, very angry about the Chequers deal, I think it's fair to say. A lot of them aren't even going to campaign for Theresa May at the next general election, which is a really surprising thing. I don't think this is unprecedented in the Conservative Party for a very, very long time. Obviously, some of the members do support Theresa May, and they've got some very interesting reasons for that. But I think the majority of members here at the Orpington Association are against this Chequers plan, like the rest of the country. Look at the opinion polls that's come out today. Only 10% of people support the way that she's handling Brexit. So I think we've got some really interesting views here from the Orpington Association of the Conservatives, and it'll be really interesting to see what Theresa May and the top senior Tories make of how the local parties are actually reacting to the Chequers deal.